Welcome back to the channel. I am the Maize Madman. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, share this with your friends, and comment down below. Today we are talking the Rose Bowl, Alabama getting desperate, hiring former Michigan staffer, plus a top Michigan target in the 2025 class receives his 4th star, and we're going to take a moment to point and laugh at the desperate, the other state. All that and of course...
No disrespect, respectfully, but disrespectfully, it's disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans, poor little bro, man. And I'm gonna tell him where I'm at. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, the other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset.
Maize and Blue Nation, it's Tom Brady. I co-founded Autograph with one mission in mind: change the fan experience for the better. That's why I'm excited to announce the release of a new app that recognizes the biggest Michigan fans. The Autograph Fandom app gives you access to the best Michigan content, fan challenges, and exclusive rewards for diehard Wolverines, all for doing the things you already do, like listening to this podcast. Head over to the Apple App Store and search for Autograph Rewarding Fans and download today.
Let's start things off with that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus and the desperate program that they have become. It's almost disgusting, but one thing it is for sure is laughable. I want to point a couple things out to the people who didn't know this. Since 2021, when the Buckeyes beat Clemson in the semifinals, right? Which was really the 2020 season, but 2021 is when the bowl game was played. But since that time, they have 0 wins versus Michigan. They have 0 conference championships. They have 0 playoff wins. They have 0 wins as an underdog. Let that marinate for a second. In addition to being just extra regular since that time, since they lost their 3rd, count them, 1, 2, 3, straight to the Wolverines this past November, right? They have lost the starting quarterback from that game. A former 5-star wide receiver has entered the portal. By the way, that starting quarterback entered the portal. 2, because that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, the fan base basically ran him out of there. And he didn't have a bad season, by the way. I mean, he threw only 6 picks. Now, granted, 2 of them came against Michigan, but that's neither here nor there. Kyle McCord, the Honda McCord, as we like to affectionately call him, was not all the way terrible this year. He had some bad games, sure, but for the most part, he performed admirably, as admirably as you could for that disgusting program that is the Buckeyes. Anyway, both of those guys are out. Chip Trainum out, right? Ryan Day's seat is an inferno. Okay. Brian Hartline has been reduced to cheating, basically. And by the way, this is against NCAA rules, what he did, going into the stands at Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver, the 5-star wide receiver that is committed currently to the Buckeyes, but all signs point to him going to Florida State. But Brian Hartline at his state championship game entered the stands to talk to him. That's against the NCAA rules for this time period. So, but of course we won't hear anything from that. Pictures were taken, 4K pictures, beautiful pictures were taken. But of course the NCAA has not made a fuss about that, but I digress. In addition to Jeremiah Smith's possible flipping, which seems imminent, they have another player in their 2024 class who is also an imminent flip. Jordan Lyle, the 4-star running back, is an imminent flip to Miami of all places, going to Coral Gables. He is the 4-star running back, of course, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. St. Thomas Aquinas High School down there. The 89th ranked player. I'm sorry, I misspoke. He is ranked 152 nationally. The 12th rated running back in the class and the number 20 player in the state of Florida. But Jeremiah Smith is like the number 1 player in the class. And both of them could be flipping here in short time. So I just wanted to take a moment to point and laugh at those vile, disgusting, cesspool-ridden Buckeyes. Jim Harbaugh has effectively destroyed that program over the last 3 years. They are in shambles. No matter how much they talk to the contrary on social media, that fan base is in shambles. They are in disarray. They are a tattered mess, and we need to keep our foot on their neck. Moving on. While we are speaking about desperation, we cannot let this moment pass without speaking about Nick Saban and Alabama hiring former Michigan staffer George Hilo to their staff in an undisclosed position, an unnamed position, a position that has no name other than to get inside information on Michigan's defense. For those of you who don't know, George Hilo is the former linebacker coach for Michigan, the 2020-2021 season. 21-22 season. So he was definitely there when Jesse Minter was there. He has some knowledge, I'm sure, of Michigan's defensive scheme. And I'm sure that that's why Nick Saban hired him. Of course, the Rose Bowl is coming up. We'll be here in no time flat. Nick Saban trying to get an edge in every way possible. It just seems not right to be able to hire a coach weeks out from the game. Not just a coach, not just any coach, but a coach that actually has some inside knowledge of your opponent weeks out from the game. However, they'd rather be on Michigan's case for the possibility of sign stealing. I'm not even going to get into that. That said, though, I want to give George Hilo and I want to give Nick Saban some latitude here, because Nick Saban did give George Hilo his first job back in 2012. His first coaching job on the collegiate level was in 2012, and that was given by Nick Saban. So he gets a pass there. They do have some history, so it's not like a super random hire. But George Hilo just jumped off his couch because that's where he was, because Michigan parted ways with him when they hired the new linebacker coach, Chris Partridge, who has since been fired. I know it's a mess, but George Hilo hopped off his couch into a meeting room with Nick Saban to try and break down Michigan's defense and the defensive scheme. So Michigan is aware of this. It's not like they have a super big advantage in that way. So Jesse Minter and that Michigan defensive staff will have time to counteract this, but it does put them in a weird position to have to try and counteract, maybe change calls or looks or schemes just weeks before that game is to be played. We'll keep you posted as more information becomes available on this one. Next up, let's talk about the possibility of Michigan landing former 5-star quarterback and UCLA transfer Dante Moore. Dante Moore, of course, is visiting Oregon, I believe, as I'm speaking. They seem to be in the lead for his recruitment. However, there are some others that believe that Michigan actually is the front runner for his services. Bleacher Report recently came out and said that they are crystal balling Dante Moore to Michigan. it appears that the Moore camp is saying all the right things, right? He wants to be developed. He's not necessarily concerned with coming in and starting right away. And that would be perfect, ideal even in a situation where JJ returns to Michigan. Of course, JJ has yet to make that decision, and it is his right to make that decision when he wants to make that decision. If Dante Moore is willing to sit behind JJ and learn and develop, then that is one thing. If JJ leaves and Dante Moore is still available and wants to come to Michigan, that may be another, but I am not opposed to that either, as it would give Jaden Davis the opportunity to sit behind Dante Moore as he develops, right? And Jaden Davis's father, Jeremiah Davis, has already come out and basically said he doesn't want Jaden Davis to start year one and that he wants his son to get the proper development. Now, I'm sure he meant behind JJ McCarthy. So that's one thing. He did say if his son comes in and is able to compete for the starting job, he's not going to obviously turn that down, but ideally they want him to sit and learn for at least a year, which I think makes a lot of sense for a quarterback like Jaden Davis. If you're asking what this means for Bryce Underwood if Dante Moore joins the Wolverines, I don't think it means much. Dante Moore theoretically will only be there 2 years if he does go to Michigan. Underwood is a 2025 recruit, meaning even that overlap might just be 1 year, and the same applies to him in terms of sitting for a year. We don't know if that's what Bryce wants to do, but it would be ideal. Also, there are rumblings that Michigan may actually be in a good position to land Bryce Underwood, even though the crystal balls have him going to LSU currently. So I'll keep my ear to the ground and give you more information as that becomes available on that front. But let me know in the comment section what you think is the most ideal. Is it ideal for Michigan to land Dante Moore no matter if JJ goes or stays? Is it ideal if JJ stays or if JJ goes? Or do you want Dante Moore at all? Should we just stick with what we have in Denegal and Orji and Davis and put all of our efforts into trying to get Underwood? Let me know what combination makes the most sense for you. Leave it in the comment section. We move on. Finally, we'll end this thing with contract talk with Jim Harbaugh. Apparently, as everybody knows, there's a 5-year, $55 million deal on the table that protects Michigan for at least 1 year from Jim Harbaugh flirting with the NFL. There are those that think the longer that this goes, the more likely that Jim Harbaugh is going to the NFL. I happen to be one of those people. There are some that say that if this deal is not done before Christmas, that Jim Harbaugh is going to the NFL. I'm not sure if it's that soon. I'm not sure if that's the deadline, but I don't like the fact that a deal has been put on the table, that Jim Harbaugh to this point has said that he wants to be here, that he would like a new deal, that, he wants to feel rewarded for the success that he's had over the last 3 years, which it seems like Michigan is offering. He would be the highest paid coach in the Big Ten, but nothing has been signed. It's a little alarming, I'm going to be honest, but Jim Harbaugh does this every year. It's like an annual thing now for us. It's like the Jim Harbaugh invitational, basically, at the end of any season, for there to be some question as to whether or not he will be returning as the head coach in Ann Arbor. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Are you tired of the Jim Harbaugh ring around the contract? Do you think that Jim stays? Do you think he goes? Let us know in the comment section. Let's talk about it. Be sure to follow me everywhere at Maize Madman. Everywhere. Also, download that Autograph app. Right now, there are tickets available for the Rose Bowl through the Autograph app for the lowest price that you will find these tickets, $562, I believe, for 2 tickets. Be sure to download that app, use my code Madman, and get you some Rose Bowl tickets. Other than that, stay angry, my friends. I'm I'm upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our best season ever. Our ratings, they're about to go through the roof.
All right, now I'm gonna calm down. So I'm gonna calm down, son. I just don't get that all that Mace and that lock and all that puff. I just don't get it, son, for real.
Just calm
and how
down.
the